I always had an interest in photography, even looking at pictures at home, you know, as a young fella. But when camera phones came out then, it was easy to take photos and just progressed from there, moved on. Yeah, I suppose I got into it at a time in my life, probably a bit down at the time, and I was looking for something to do. I hadn't played music in a while and stuff, and I was just looking for something different. So I always liked photography, and so I got into it then and just kept getting more into it. Probably some of the first places I would have went to take photographs were like Emo Court, which is local, and took photos of anything that moved basically, and half of them be shite at this stage, but it's all a learning process. It's just like the social side of it, being in the camera club and being with like-minded people, exchanging ideas and even locations. We'd probably have something planned. We could either have a guest speaker in, or else we could have a photo shoot doing portraits and different model poses, stuff like that. I suppose I enjoy the group outings that we have. Like we went up to Achill Island there recently, a crowd of us, and for 3 or 4 days. Great. And done Dingle and went over to Wales. Every night you get down there, you learn something different. It's never ending. Like you never know it all. I want to spend 8 hours out doing photography, not 8 hours sitting down editing, which other photographers would do, and that's fine. Like, but I just kind of feel at the moment, especially for competitions and stuff like that, that has turned more into a Photoshop, how good you are at Photoshop competition than a photography competition, unfortunately. But look, some people are into editing. I want to be out. The first photo was a photograph of a friend of mine, Amy McNamara, and we done a shoot with her there a couple of weeks back, and it was in an old Quaker house in Mount Milligan, Laois, and we would have planned it out beforehand and got some clothes to suit the sort of style of the old house. I like the colours because it was just the start of autumn and brought them out a bit more in post-processing. I play a bit of music myself, and I just love the stage presence of musicians and their facial expressions and when they're singing songs. It's great, like there's a lot of different expressions that you wouldn't normally get. It's challenging enough, yeah. It's despite what you might think, gigs are usually very dark, so you'd be using a lot of different camera settings, high ISO, that kind of thing. I photographed a good few bands. I like the Frank and Waters. I photographed them a few times in Dublin, up in Whelan's, and of course the Electric Picnic every year. But kind of have to sneak the camera in there. But yeah, it's great. I've done some good ones: Madness, Blondie, Moncrief. I suppose we're lucky enough in Laois to have the Rockadonna Mesa on our doorstep. It's a fantastic place for photographs. You could go out there every day of the year and get a different one. You know, especially when it's snowing or there's storms. Or I photographed it during thunder and lightning. I suppose we take it for granted really, but I have people from other places saying how lucky we are to have that on our doorstep to go out and photograph it. I like wildlife photography. It's very challenging and long hours. Been photographing kingfishers a lot over the last couple of years locally, so which is grand. There's not much travelling, but I mean, you could be sitting there for 10 minutes and the kingfisher come along, or you could be sitting there for 10 hours and he'd never show up. But it's basically none of it's set up. I mean, you'd be in a photography hide and you're basically waiting for him to come along and fish off the perches and off the trees or whatever.